I fell very much in love with a boy who died April 16th of this year. His name was Jack O'Neill, and he was one of the most special people I've ever met in my life. 5 days after he died, I was compelled to go outside into the wind, and I asked for a shooting star as a sign that he was there, and he gave me one. And then I thought, I'd really like another one just to really, really prove it. And I thought, that's kind of selfish, but just as I reached for the door to go inside, he gave me a second one over the top of my house. So this one's called, Thank You for the 2 Shooting Stars. The heavy plight of the Sunlight Virgin Mary statue, lost in the overgrown grass of the rose bed. Dead and gone her golden sun, hands held high they snuffed the one. I'll needle dig the thorn splinters from my middle fingerprint. Oh honey, my heart hurts, can you wrap it in a splint? That tiny glint of future father light in his eyes, so showcased on the hot fall hill, like a forehead tattoo forever and still. They've got shackles round my love and sky above him as high up as he is. The fizz of primordial combustion, lust and gumption to carve the continents with a thumbnail. I wailed on my Navajo rug, my head dropped all on its own like it was being tugged at the powwow that day. Gray and aching the heavens wept. The reservoir sent mournful lapping upon the shore's rocks. My head, my hands, my socks soaked through. And I spoke to you in the conduit of the careful and close listening given by the elements and atmosphere. So near your hand as I stretched mine upward, the lines blurred between living and dreaming. You walked through this world, you said, not believing in your conscious moments that your body would ever shift from youth. But when sleep carried you to the unspoken side, you could see your old man's eyes, your deep wrinkled hands cradling healthy, strong namesake offerings, grandchildren in green places, the faces of a family you built along with the walls that were home to them. Send me more of these visions as the incisions of your passing take their sweet time in healing or even closing up. Let the cup bearing each word you spoke spill with clarity as the days carry me like a zoned out crowd surfing teen over the mean streets of grief. Strengthen my belief that love is the only thing worth talking about. Well, at least there's no threat of a drought, because the heavy pout of the skies kept the clouds crying since the day you fill in the blank. It rhymes with sighed. By mine is where I wish you were, instead you're scattered about this earth. I held a handful of you, what part I could only guess, but I hope it was your heart or chest, and I must confess a very strange thing. In the snow-shimmering secrecy of the shack they named after you, I drew a deep breath and ate some of what was once your body. And though some may not applaud me for it, this seemed my last and only chance to have you inside of me. And maybe it was an odd way to go about it, but I didn't question or doubt it. My tears froze to my face while I licked my fingers clean, and I felt like a fiend because I swear I could taste the way you used to smell, like the swell of every ocean mixed with youth's deepest emotions. And dirt and strength and the length of an entire wildflower field yielding the most glorious blossoms that can be imagined, and high altitude saplings and multitudes of magical happenings from faraway believers' dreams. Just then I felt the empathetic beams of the sun reminding me that though I was far from done with this deep down aching, I was also just awaking to a new life in the making. And through my torrent of heavy mountain shaking, I knew I had a task, to take every breath as you did, to bask in adventure and rid myself of the excuses that keep me bound as an indentured servant to fear, to hear the wind and water calling me out of my cozy nest, to be blessed under the crescent moon smile of a mile marker I never thought I could reach, to teach a child to plant seeds in the ground, to hear a symphony in the sounds of the forest, a resounding chorus on the wings of hummingbirds, to speak without words and see God in running herds of bison, to fight the pull of nice and easy and instead be lulled to sleep by the whisperings of an uncharted shore, to dance when no one's on the floor, to make that move even when I'm not sure I should, because if I would have jumped on that train of thought sooner, I've told you long ago how much you make me swoon, that I'd like to croon a love song with your name in the refrain with lyrics no one could ignore, of how this headstrong Taurus implored the fates to carve a place for us beyond the sparkling gates that open to the land of those who wait for love, to shove past the naysayers and play it safers, cause you know I'd wrestle an arrogant annihilator just to feel it for a second. The hour hands got his hush-hush plans, and if you demand some sort of answer, there's a chance you'll be found ripping the face right off that circle of notches we all set our watches to and make curfews with. Oh, lift me from this tar pit called time, and take me back to the one and only day you were mine. The day we played find and seek with the remains of our child counterparts and bore our beaming hearts in the cleansing gush of the museum fountain. And no amount of things to do or places to be could have ripped me from the incomparable jet stream blue of your gaze. I fell in for a half an hour before our lips found their way through the maze of air and anticipation and magnetized together. And a tether was made that still to this day binds me to the exact flavor of your breath, and the depth of princely enchantment that spiraled like a bottomless well within you, as true as it gets, wet and weak like putty in the hiking trails of your palms. I've got qualms with the way things go, and I don't know if my complaints have come across the desks of any saints or universal management types, but I'll keep up the fight until you come to me in some lucid veil and tell me tales of your cosmic train hopping, until you drop in on my frontal lobe in your angelic robes and tell me you're still on the move. Until then, I'll attempt to prove that wishing with all my might can turn day to night and make ashes take flight to create a jaw-dropping sight with even a trace of your beyond humanly handsome face. And I would confidently say that all the gods will have to pick up the pace to keep up with you, sweet blue jay.